61 billion Kenya shillings. You heard me right. That is the projected amount that is going to be spent on our elections in 2027. That is how much the IEBC will be requesting, and perhaps even more, to conduct a supposedly credible, fair, legally binding election. Now, the last election, we spent roughly 43 billion shillings. Right about there. Yet, we still ended up with a contested election. And lucky enough, this time the Supreme Court did not find any irregularities that warranted the results to be cancelled. In 2017, we conducted an election as a country, or the IEBC did. And the result of that election, which was a re-election bid from the former President Uhuru Kenyatta, ended up in an election that the Chief Justice described as follows: that the IEBC either decided not to or chose not to conduct the election as per the laid down dictates of the law. They did such a shambolic work that some of the forms did not have security features. They did such a bad job with our 49 billion shillings then that an entire presidential election was found null and void, because the process did not follow the laid down lawful procedures. I ask the question, why do we have such an expensive election in Kenya? The problem stems from us having a bad leadership. And before you throw stones at me for answering your question, we all know that's the answer. Because we have a leadership we cannot trust. We have institutions that we cannot trust. And instead of fixing those institutions, we keep throwing money at them. We keep throwing money at the problem to solve the problem of dysfunctional, rotten institutions. And I dare say the problem with the IEBC is never with the commissioners. The problem is the secretariats. Because the commissioners are more or less organizers of the final election. At the very top, just like a CEO. But the person who handles the day-to-day running of that commission and ensures that the kits, the ballot boxes, the ballot papers get to the right stations, get to the right polling stations, that after they are counted, they are stored correctly, is the secretariat. The very brain of the institution that runs our election is rotten to the core. Even if we change commissioners 1,000 times, we had Kivuito with the ECK, which led to bloodshed in the country because of a bungled election. To the point that a recognized judge who conducted an inquiry into the matter said you could not clearly tell the winner, because both sides of the political divide had so manipulated the results and the counting of the votes that you could not tell who was the winner. We brought in a new constitution, came up with legal frameworks, came up with constitutional commissions, and we had birthed a new independent electoral commission. We brought in Isaac Hassan. He was bundled out of office by the cries of the opposition in the name of that he had conducted a bungled election. From there, we put in office another man. And may his soul rest in peace, Wafula Chebukati. He was accused of bungling the election in 2017, which, by the way, was nullified because of the inconsistencies in the results and the forms that were supposed to transmit the results. Then, fast forward 2022, the results were rejected as well by the opposition. But this time they were not so lucky in court. But why do we keep having an election that is doubted by opponents time and time again, yet we spend this amount of money? We have a serious problem with the body that conducts our elections. Why will they be allocated this amount of money, yet the perennial problem of bungling elections has not been solved at the commission? Do they deserve to be allocated this much? They say 45,000 KIMS kits have to be replaced. Why can't we use the old ones we've had? Those kits are used for a single day. Some of us have phones and laptops that we have used for eons, and they work perfectly. And majority of the time, the work of the KIMS kit is not that much of a workload because it's only maybe scanning the fingerprint of the voter and transmitting the results. Then it's locked away in a safe. Why do we have to replace 45,000 KIMS kit? Is this a request that is genuine, that is going to add in the conducting of a free and fair election, or are we looking at a planned corruption grant scheme? Because we are used to budgeting for corruption in this country. Does the IEBC deserve to be allocated that much amount of money, considering the problems we have after each election? Can't we look at the core problem in the commission instead of throwing money at the problem? Can we not solve the problem where it burns, instead of attempting to treat the symptoms of the disease? We must find the disease, cut it out, and treat its root cause for us to have a free and fair, affordable election. Because the honest truth, it's a burden we can no longer bear. It's a burden we can no longer shoulder anymore as a country. We cannot afford for our elections to become more expensive each year. We must find a way to lower the costs. We must find a way to have affordable, credible, free, and fair elections in this country. And that is my unfiltered insight for tonight.